Let me take you back to 2013, 10 years ago. Back in 2013, City Builder players were teeming with excitement for EA's upcoming release of SimCity 2013. PC players have been waiting 10 years since the release of SimCity 4 before they could finally get their hands on a new City Builder video game. You see, computer graphics and the video game industry as a whole changed a lot from 2003 until 2013, and there was a loyal fan base for SimCity 4 that were patiently waiting for when their favorite City Builder game would get its entry into its new era of video gaming. The story of SimCity 2013 had a very swift and unfortunate end, but one gameplay mechanic that was introduced in that game was the ability to upgrade buildings to make them more effective. And we are seeing this reintroduced in the upcoming Cities Skylines 2 series that will be made available at the end of October, and today I want to talk about it. For those that are just discovering my channel, my name is Michael and I want to welcome you to Sovereign Gaming and City Builders. This is the YouTube channel where I build worlds, cities, and share my thoughts on the video games in the City Builder gaming space. And although there might be some reservations on what this means for Cities Skylines 2 when it comes to modular buildings going forward, I am personally very excited about it, and I also feel like it was a genius move and that Colossal Order really didn't have to reinvent the wheel to give players a new feature to play with. They just had to give the concept some spit and shine, and from the looks of it, the modular building upgrades look like it will run smoothly and our games when Cities Skylines 2 releases this October. In one of the developer playthroughs, I was particularly impressed with the train station upgrades, including the ability to add in more platforms and a metro station for multimodal convergence. This got me to thinking, and I know that this isn't in the base game, but wouldn't it be nice if all of the metro stations in particular got modular upgrades? I mean, in Cities Skylines 1, we saw multiple versions of metro stations, specifically the underground ones, covering nearly every underground station configuration found under the sun on the workshop. Like, wouldn't it be easier if metro stations had the option of getting upgraded with modular stations? For example, the underground metro station, for it, actually, you could this would be great if you could just upgrade it with a perpendicular or a parallel platform stations to connect more than one line, or perhaps even you could upgrade it with multiple station entrances. I think that making the underground metro station with modular upgrades would help to give players more options as they expand their cities. Or perhaps this is something that a modder, would be willing to make for the workshop. I wanted to share this example specifically of something that I would like to see, as I think that there are a lot more opportunities to really make modular buildings an effective game mechanic in Cities Skylines 2, such as adding platforms to metro stations. I think that another place where modular buildings could be used in another game mechanic would be some of the unique buildings, just to add in additional bonuses to an area. And I'm sure that maybe there's some already in the game, but I haven't really seen them. And if I'm wrong, feel free to leave a comment and show me where. Anyways, for example, I was thinking that you could place down a unique office building and then continue to build up its level and heights to increase the range of its bonus towards a neighborhood, for example. Essentially, I feel like modular buildings should have a presence within every major gameplay mechanic within Cities Skylines 2, as I think that they help to make buildings more effective within a single building. Now, I'm not going to drop the service building example since we are already very familiar with them. But speaking of service buildings, I would also like to see sometime in the franchise a version of small town and suburban assets released in Cities Skylines 2. This would actually make for a great creator pack, since I feel like all of the service buildings are suited for denser areas within a city. I mean, when I look at the fire station, police station, and even the clinic, to me, it sort of feels like I would find these buildings in a small city or a larger town rather than a sleepy suburb or a small town. I think that giving smaller scale service buildings would go a long way, as that was yet another common trend in the Cities Skylines workshop, which was finding small town versions of your service buildings. In my opinion, it would be even better if the Paradox Colossal Order team updated the tech tree going forward, maybe even placing small town versions of service buildings before the modular larger versions. What do you guys think on that idea? One common theme that I am noticing with both of the Cities Skylines franchises is that they really don't do small towns or suburbs very well. The focus and appeal of the Cities Skylines franchises is all on the taller skyscrapers, which makes sense, hence why the name. Anyways, I just wanted to point this out because I feel like it would be a great opportunity for Cities Skylines 2 to take into consideration suburban and small town urban settings within its franchise going forward. With there existing a separate demand for single family homes, I think that it actually forces the franchise to take a fresh look at those particular urban forms of lower density urban living. I think we all saw how quickly the devs had to sprawl their city in response to single-family home demand in the live stream a few weeks ago. So in my opinion, I think that it will be necessary for the franchise to give players more options when it comes to developing the low-density areas of your city or region. And I would like some of those options to include train stations suited for low-dense areas as well. And when it comes to modular buildings, I actually don't think that these suit every purpose and form. For example, if we ever get a university DLC, I would like the university DLC to be replicated and updated, and an updated version of the DLC we got in Cities Skylines 1. Like, I would like to have the ability to fully build out a campus and have a campus have a significant footprint within your city or within your region. And yeah, that would be something that I would really like, because it really changes the way that players plan out their cities. So instead of just dropping a university building, suddenly you have to sequester an area for a university campus to build out in the future. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that adding some modular buildings related to universities would certainly be a good thing, but I don't want the interpretation of a university campus DLC to focus on a singular modular building. Rather, I'd like to paint out a district and place buildings individually, and to really make a campus feel like a campus and not just a single place to visit. Another place that I really don't want modular builds to be in would be let me try that again. Another place where I don't want modular builds to be the gameplay feature focus is if Paradox decided to release like another airports DLC. So again, a very similar idea to the campus DLC idea that I just shared with you guys. The airports DLC really forced players to more carefully consider the layouts of their cities, and even though it would be technically considered a modular build from the Cities Skylines 1 interpretation of it, I don't want to be forced into upgrading a single building again as the final expression of this aspect of city building. Rather, I would love to have the ability to just kind of build my own concourse like I did in Cities Skylines 1 to create a unique airport that suits my city. And in my cities, they tend to be quite ginormous. Even though I think that with modular buildings coming back in Cities Skylines 2 being a very good thing, I just don't want everything to be approached as a potential modular building, when I think that future DLC is more impactful when it doesn't come in the form of a single modular building and just kind of building out from that single point of focus. That was a long-winded way of saying that I'm glad that it's back, but I think that it has its place and time as a gameplay mechanic. And even though I think that modular buildings would make great gameplay solutions, such as the underground metro station example I shared earlier, I also think that it can be overdone, and I'm hoping that the folks at Colossal Order can see that a balance is needed to be used with modular buildings in the franchise going forward. After all, one of the downfalls of SimCity 2013 was that the gameplay relied on modular buildings and became redundant. Granted, Cities Skylines 2 will definitely never reach the lows of SimCity 2013. I still think that that SimCity 2013 can still teach us a lesson or two going forward with city builder games even to this day. But I want to know what you have to think about modular builds making its debut in the Cities Skylines 2 franchise. Do you like modular builds, or are you worried that Paradox will lean on them too much going forward? Do you find that modular builds are limiting or freeing? Do you think that modular builds should be balanced with other gameplay mechanics, or are they the gameplay mechanic you want more of? Comment below with your thoughts. I would love to hear more. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to keep up with my content, then feel free to consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Thank you again for watching Sovereign Gaming in City Builders, and please have yourself a wonderful day.